I think the girls' games are getting more physical regardless of sport. So whether it's, I know you mentioned hockey in the email in the winter or lacrosse in the spring, I don't think any of the girls would have any problem with a more physical game being allowed. And I think it would be good overall for everybody.
Mark Farinella, is it time to let the girls play like the boys? I mean, they do play like the boys. Let's make the rules the same.
Well, Peter, as you know, these things move at a glacial pace. I mean, it took 50 years. It took more than 50 years for basketball to put the same rules in effect for the girls as they were for the boys, and they still make them play with a smaller basketball. Yeah, I'm not sensing a lot of push on the sport, on the sense of the sports governing bodies. I mean, USA Lacrosse this year apparently imposed 19 rule changes from girls lacrosse to try to make it a little bit more like the boys game, a little bit faster play. I couldn't tell you what they were. I couldn't know. I didn't notice them. I wouldn't have known them anyway in the first place. But I think it's up to the individual sports to figure out what they want to do. I mean, you know, if there's a big push for hockey to include checking, or for you know, a little bit more physicality in the girls' game, then it will get there, but it'll get there slowly and eventually. But besides, look, Republican zealots claim that all female athletes are going to be replaced by transgender men anyway. So, I mean, I suppose it'll all be equal at some point if you listen to the Tucker Carlsons of the world. By the way, if you need a new commentator, he's available.
Yeah, and he brought. So what did he say? We're in danger because media is not telling the truth, said the guy who said one thing on the air, but then was texting something differently to his superiors. Paul Healy, we're right in your groove now, talking about Carlson. Let's talk girls athletics. However,
two rule changes that will take place when I'm benevolent czar. Number one, softball field. We're going to make the bases 65 feet apart instead of 60. The girls are too good of athletes now to play in a field so tiny. That field's got to be made bigger. Number two, and this drives lacrosse zealots and lacrosse purists nuts. When I'm benevolent czar, no more stinking face-offs after every single goal. Basketball had a jump ball after every hoop until 1939, when they realized if one team was constantly winning the jump, it gave them an unfair advantage. And in lacrosse, Franklin's, where all the rich white kids go, they can spend thousands of dollars to go to clinics just on winning face-offs. And in boys lacrosse, nobody can see what's going on in a face-off anyway, except the ref and the two players in it. I sure as heck hope they're using breath mints. It's not entertaining, and it makes comebacks impossible. Girls do the stand-up version of the draw, they call it. No, you score a goal, the other team gets it behind their net. Let's frickin' go. Those are the rule changes I want.
Del Malloy, I know in hockey there was at least one girls team you thought was breaking the rules by checking, and the officials did not call it.
Yeah, I think when you look at sports, when you look at making the girls' sports like the boys' sports, there's three groups that play a role in it. The first is the rules committees, National Federation of High School Sports, the NCAA, and their medical teams that look at what can we safely add to the rules? How can we make the games? They'd really like them to be as close as possible to one another, but there's different physical characteristics between boys and girls, and they take that into account based on a lot of research and injury research. Then there's coaching, then there's officiating. And unfortunately, in some of the, like girls hockey, it's a product of what coaches coach and referees call more than the rules. The rules are pretty clear. But I think as the girls, as they gain more traction in sports, as more of them play, we've seen it. Jared and I have talked about it from time to time. These games are getting better in all the sports we're doing. They're getting better. The athletes are more physical. They're more skilled. I think you'll see gradual easing of the rules that make the women's game, the girls' game, different than the guys' game once the medical committees on both of those levels feel that it's safe to do so. I mean, look what we got in football now with concussions and all the emphasis on it. They don't want that to happen on the sports that are governed separately. I'll also add that one of the biggest concerns on the boys and the men's side in lacrosse is keeping control of the game, not letting it get so violent, so physical that we get into a situation where injuries are happening. And to add my last comment, one of the things that makes the game even more exciting and safer is the synthetic surfaces. We're seeing less and less lower leg injuries and quite a bit more speed in the way the game's played on both the boys and the girls level. So it's moving in the right direction, and we have to be patient as the medical experts tell us when the athletes are better equipped to take the physicalness that we see on the male side.